teachers, um, babysitting, all of those obstacles and things that's going to come up, we forget. We want to jump them into a training program and then, figure out how are they working if it's a weekend. Now, this is a weekend program,
We had
Saturday.
9 to 3. And look, one of the things that we want to do at the end of the day is this. We want to take every reason in the world why you're going to fail. Transportation, we want to be able that's why we want the bus line.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have daycare. We want to be able to give lunch money. We want to be able to give stipends. We want to take every excuse that you have for not being successful away.
Yeah.
But that takes.
So if somebody
resources.
want it, you guys are going to make sure they get it.
Yes.
But they gotta want it, and they have to be willing to be a full partner. Now, are you taking registration now?
Yes.
Where can people? Now I feel like I'm interviewing. I'm a talk show host. I'm a talk show host too, so I almost had to kind of catch myself. I'm gonna say, where can you?
You can go to www.blackmenunited.org.
Okay.
And on our website, and actually download the application, or you can come down to 4200 North 30th Street. And right now, man, we got a waiting list.
Okay.
This thing is so needed.
I want y'all to start. I want you to have a start date.
November the 14th.
November 14th is the
Start
start date.
November the 14th.
Hey, that's this week.
Next week.
That's next week.
Yes.
So the first class will start next week.
Yes.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So how many you gonna have?
10. We ain't putting more than 10 in these classes.
Okay, that's okay. Well, So if we raise, we got to raise 50, but if we raise at least somebody commit $5,000 between now and the 14th, that'll help you in a major way.
Major way, man. Then I would probably use that as a way to be able to give some of those individuals stipends.
Yeah. So it's out there, and I tell you, I mean, that's what's up in terms of just starting the program and getting it started. And I know Metro has about 100 students in a cohort that they're partnering with Exarban, the Knights of Exarban, to take them. These are high school students that are choosing not to go to college and track through a trade.
Right.
And so that's the same. Everybody is not made or made out for college or 4-year college degree. And folks that want to be have their own business or just trades, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, they make very good money.
Anywhere between 50 and 100 G's a year.
Oh, it's very good money.
And you don't have to worry about it outsourcing as well. So
I mean, it makes sense. But I think we know we have a problem with a population that's low in skill. We all got to turn it up, as the young people say, and really ignite this fire that's going to say across all systems and institutions, we're going to raise the bar. We're going to raise the skill level. And so weekends, I don't care on the weekend if the Love Jazz has to become one of a workstation, for carpenters or somebody want to learn the art industry
or
painting or something. So I'm just saying we all, churches can be available for tutoring classes for math, writing,
and reading.
And reading, and so we have to activate the community to help lift the people that are have interest in getting better. They want to get better and they want to improve their skill. Let's activate all aspects in terms of not-for-profit, for-profits. I mean, let's get it done.
We can skip the middleman and really go out to the lobster and steak dinner if we would come together and be collaborative about our work.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna say this, and let's just keep this real. When one black person mess up, that make it bad for all of us. Which is, I mean, that's a shame. That's a shame, but it's real talk. And historically, black folks have messed up, and it have caused a lot, like all of us, to be put under a microscope.
But I tell you, that's very shallow in terms of individuals that place blame on one black or several blacks that have been given a job and they messed up or they didn't do the job right. That's very shallow, and that is not right to condemn a whole race or to say, oh, I gave them a try and they didn't do it right, so I'm hesitant. No, it's the individual. It's the skill set. So maybe you didn't do proper vetting of that individual before you gave them a job. You gave them the job for the wrong reason.
Right.
So we gotta, I think we have to look at self, it's that looking back at self and doing it for the right reason. But I think shame on any company out there that tries to hold back or place blame on a whole race because one person didn't do something right.
I agree with you.
That's very shallow.
In reality, it's happening.
It's happening, and I think when we see it happening, we got to call it out. And in my environment, and I have several examples of being a part of things where there's been a goal to spend so much money with minorities, and it, when I challenge that, they say, "Well, I can't find any." I think that's BS. But there are some skilled minorities out there that can do the work, and so it's just putting additional effort into identify and going and getting. Go get them. They're out there, and so if you want minority participation, you can have it, and it can be in a meaningful way. But don't do it in a way where it's going to be demeaning, and you're doing it just for the sake of the numbers, and you don't do proper vetting to get the right person on the job, and you're hiring them knowing they're going to fail.
But we have a huge issue. First of all, we don't have affirmative action in the state, and now we don't have set asides. So now we actually trying to come
Tier
up
1 and Tier 2.
Tier 1, Tier 2, and diversity and inclusion.
Right.
So with that being the case, we don't have that leverage where we can do set asides. A lot of the boards don't have diversity on the boards. So how can you get a movement regarding issues within the minority community when a lot of the boards don't have the diversity to be able to speak on our behalf?
That's true. And there again, I challenge the fraternities, sororities. I'm a member of the 100 Black Men, United Way, and some of these companies out there. I think we have to support board participation and really and get more African Americans and people of color on boards. United Way, they had a program called Heartland Blueprint. I'm not even sure if it's still going on, but you're right. If you're not, when you think about diversity and inclusion, and I really think, we got to do a bit better job across all systems of getting being more inclusive and being more diverse in terms of our boards. Our boards are not diverse like they should be in this city. And so what do you do about that? It's just not gonna change.
No.
We have to be the change agents in terms of, but it has to be a total partnership. It can't just be the 100 Black men, 100 Black women, Black Men United, the fraternities, and we want to be on boards. We can identify some folks and be on boards. How do we develop this cohesiveness in terms of both parties and organizations, and how do we strengthen boards and board representation? But that's part of this whole process of becoming a great city for everyone, not just for persons that are the haves.
I went to the Million Man March, and every year I went, I didn't feel hostility towards another black man. I didn't see the mean mugging. I didn't see the backstabbing, the envy, the jealousy, none of that. But the minute I got back here to Omaha, Nebraska, it literally jumped out at me that we are our worst enemy. We ain't got to like each other.
Yeah.
but we got to have common interests.
Yeah.
So we can change our conditioning by finding some type of common ground.
Yeah.
Because what's missing is you have the elite, and then you have the middle class, and then you have the rest of the folks. There's no connection.
It's too much hatred. And I think it's built from, I think it's generational of pain. But anytime you have a race, and when you think of the African American male, probably the greatest enemy to an African American male is itself. As far as just, chances of me dying, the likelihood of it being from another African American male is pretty high. Yeah, and so that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep when you have individual or a race that's more apt to kill each other versus talking something out. And so, but I think where, this is my personal opinion, I think it's rooted around that we have lost our way, or we've moved from the center. And that center for me is the spirituality of the core of that whole, the principle of spirit, body, and mind. And so I think we've lost our way from a spirituality, and because the whole principle of love, when you think about even Farrakhan and most religions, a lot of it is centered around the principle of love, and also of service, of taking care of each other.
Right.
And you love, service, caring, and I think if we go back to those very simple but very complex principles of love, I think we will improve this negative discourse of killing each other and all these things that we're doing to harm and to beat down versus to lift up. So it's easier said than done, but I think it starts with love. I don't have to, I don't have to agree with you. I mean, we can be in disagreement most times, but does that mean it's to the point where I is in a disagreement where I don't like you so much that I'm gonna start mean mugging you? If you say the wrong thing to me, if you huff and puff, I'm gonna be ready to shoot you. I mean, where do we get to that point? That we should, I can see getting amped every once in a while in terms of conversation, but should it escalate to the point where I choose to take you out?
Never.
I may want to box a little bit, but you can't box now. It's like, back in the day, you had a little beef with your neighborhood, partner or something. You put a stick on your shoulder, and you dare one, whoever knocked that stick off, it was on. It was on. But after the fight, you would get up,
shake hands,
and you would be next day you're good. You're eating peanut butter and jelly together.
I want to do you recall this. You had came up to me one time and said, "Look, what do you think would happen if Ernie Chambers, Big Ray, you, all these people would be in the same room? What do you think would happen if all those folks would one day sit down and put their differences out?" I think we even tried to call a meeting to bring all those folks to the
and
table.
when I posed that to Ernie, Senator Chambers, I think he would do it. He would come to that meeting because he understands. I truly believe he understands that there's two of me in terms of two sides where you have there's what you have to do because of who you are externally.
Right.
and the face that you have to put up, and the things you have to press upon to get done. But then we close the door, and it's a strategy session of putting people that have disagreement in a room. But if it's for the betterment of the people should force upon elected officials and leadership to talk and get along if it's for the purpose of moving those constituents forward as far as the quality of life and making it better for the people they serve. I mean, that's really what they're there for. How do you make it better for the people you're representing? And most times, if there's conflict or disagreement, we don't want to be in the same room, because if you say too much, it's going to turn into it's going to get physical.
So this is what I'm gonna do. You need to try to call that meeting one more time, man, before 2015 is gone, man. Just call it.
Who needs to be in the meeting?
It's in the
Chambers.
Ben
Gregg.
Chris Rogers.
Willie Barney.
Willie Hamilton.
Tim Clark. Mike Maroney.
Justin Wayne.
Mark Snow.
Yolanda Williams. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, those need to be in the room.
Tom Warren.
Wednesday Duran.
John Ewing.
Dick Davis.
So Dick Davis. That's D2 or senior?
Both.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I agree. And so here's the thing. To some degree, you have that in the Empowerment Network. A lot of those individuals are part of the Empowerment Network. You know that.
Some of them are.
A majority of them.
Not from my last conversation.
Well, here or there. Don't forget Othello.
Othello Meadows.
Dale. But that's the summit. That needs to happen. In terms of just
put on your big boy pants.
Those individuals. But here's the thing.
What do you think would happen if we got all those folks in one room?
I think it has to be, either you agree upon what's the outcome.
Set the agenda.
In terms of just what you want to accomplish, because, typically with leaders, it has to be shared vision, common goals, so you can have collective impact. Shared vision, common goals, collective impact. Not saying we all have to agree, but what do we agree upon? And I think if we spend time focusing on that, what's shared versus, you're doing this, you're doing that. No.
And the past, all that stuff, it's out the window. But before that can happen, man, we got to have a come to Jesus meeting. Because all the rest of that stuff ain't going to happen.
Look like you just inching for that meeting to happen.
It has to
happen, yeah.
Look, if we're going to truly move forward, all those folks has to be at the table. Because right now, we are splintered.
I would love to have, before you bring that group together, you do some homework and so you create, somebody to do a survey amongst those individuals and really try to find priorities in terms of those commonalities.
Man, look, if the commonality ain't the betterment of our community, then you need to be our elected official.
Yeah, and really, I think if you look at really the four principles: health, education, the focal point of health, education, jobs, and crime.
You think 35 people like that would get together and call a press conference, and all of us would be on the same page?
Yeah. Well, hey, I agree, Willie. I mean, I think it needs to happen and can happen.
I believe it can.
I think it can happen.
I'm saying the same thing. Othello, I really believe Othello is doing the right thing for the right reason. He catches a lot of flack, just like you catch a lot of flack, just like I catch a lot of flack. But at the end of the day, if we're
I don't understand why I'm catching a lot of flack. I'm doing arts and culture, enrichment, the Love Jazz and Art Center. I mean, but kind of,
I
don't understand that.
You hanging out with rich people, man. Somebody else ain't hanging out with rich people.
See, that's some hateration there. Because my pockets, my pockets are broke. But it really, because I'm too in the trenches, looking at sustainability strategies for the Love Jazz and Art Center, and needing grassroots support to make that happen. So if you're not a member of the Love Jazz Center, please come and get an application. Go on our website and consider becoming a member. Because at the end of the day, you have to start looking at self and saying, what have you done, or what will you do to lean forward to help move this community forward?
No, we got people making a decision about time or feeding themselves, man. I mean, we're talking about a poverty-stricken area.
You got to eat first.
You gotta eat.
And one of the things I live by, man, in terms of just this whole concept and principle of the airline stewardess. I don't care if your mom is next to you, your kid is next to you, or your baby is next to you. If there is a need for oxygen, that when that drops down, that oxygen mask drop down, they're gonna say, you must put yours on first,
right,
before you try to help anybody,
right.
And so I think that's why it has to be a an internal analysis of what you have to do to get your stuff together so you can do your part. That could be with your family. It's kind of like what you said on my show. You came back from the Million Man March, you said, I'm going to do the A, B, and C. Right. I'm going to be a better dad. I'm going to go to church more, or whatever you decide you're going to do more. You got to do that more first, because people, they do what they see you do more than what you say. They do what they see you do more than what you say. And when I practice that principle at home with my kids. I want them to clean the kitchen up more. So I went through this whole thing. I'm like, hey, the kitchen needs to be a clean place. When we walk in the house, it should remain clean. So for the last few days, I've been cleaning the kitchen. If I use something, I clean it, I put it in the dishwasher. I'm not perfect, but I know it starts with me. Is what is my behaviors, and what I'm doing to contribute to the problem or solution.
Like I always say, black men, we are definitely the problem, but we're also definitely the solution.
Absolutely, and we can, but I still, Willie, I think the work that you're doing, you're to be commended, and don't stop. I mean, sometimes it's that fourth quarter 2-minute drill, and when you're doing it for the right reason, as Kendrick Lamar would say, back to all my life I had to fight. Right. And so we've been down this road before, and so you got to do what you and I'm not telling you're a soldier, you soldier up, but I tell you one thing, our solutions, most of our solutions, they lie within self.
Absolutely.
They lie within self, and we got to be about our business from an inside out approach.
Absolutely. Get a couple of announcements out the way, and then we're gonna close her up. The health insurance
opening enrollment. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Black Men United and Big Mama's Kitchen November Hungry Club, Wednesday, November 4th from 12 to 1, over the lunch hour, 3223 North 45th Street. The Hungry Club meets the first Wednesday of every month at Big Mama's from, again, 12 to 1. This is an opportunity for members of the community to come together and enjoy a great meal, beverage, listen to information presented by our guest speakers on topics concerning the greater Omaha community and the North Omaha 2 network. With open enrollment beginning November 1st at www.healthcare.gov. Our November speaker is Paul WOJTKIEWICZ. I didn't want to mess that name up. Owner of J. Keller Insurance, an expert on making the affordable health care work for you and your family. Bring your questions and concerns. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So, open season starts November 1st. Come out tomorrow and bring your questions. Also, we are very pleased to announce that we just received a letter from NCYF. A gentleman by the name of Mr. Ken Smith, unit case manager for the Nebraska Correctional Youth Facility, and they have invited our organization to partner with them regarding our program. Many of these young men are going to be returning to the streets in Omaha upon their release. So we're excited about meeting and partnering with not only NCYF, but also we met with the new deputy warden, Mr. I can't think of his name right now, but he's a new warden, and I believe some great things are going to happen. So I want to give a big shout out to Lane Gessler and the new deputy warden at the correctional facility in Lincoln. Also, if you have not heard, there's a new bipartisan sentencing and mass incarceration bill. On October the 1st, 2015, a bipartisan group of senators introduced S-2123. As S-2123, a Sentencing Reform and Correction Act of 2015, a major criminal justice reform package aimed at reducing some mandatory minimum sentencing for non-violent drug offenders and curbing recidivism. About 6,000 individuals were released, 600 just released in Nebraska alone.
Out of that 6,000?
Out of that 6,000. Reform enhancing mandatory minimum for people with prior drug conviction, broaden the existing safety valve, and create a safety valve option. For the first time ever, you have Republicans and Democrats saying, look, the criminal justice system as we know it is broken.
Yeah.
And they are coming up with new laws and this new piece of legislation to address exactly that. And that's why I'm so happy to announce that this new deputy warden, he used to be in Illinois, he used to be in North Carolina and Ohio, and those individuals now have reduced recidivism by 44%.
Wow.
This guy understands it's the programs.
That's
and
right.
The community connection.
And the community, because it takes the village. I had Tila Mickles on my Compassion in Action, and the village has to do its part.
Right.
It's like, what, you think they're not coming back to this home, or they're not coming back to the community? They're coming back. So we have to stop covering our heads up, putting our heads in the sand, and figure out how do we receive them when they come back. And that starts when they're on the inside. You gotta have the programs on the inside to help transform and change the lives that you're gonna expect. Would you expect them to be different when they come out? You cannot start the change when they get out. The change starts when they're in.
And I say it like this, you have a captive audience 2 years out. You can go in 2 years out, get all the training that they need, so when they come out, they'll go right into a job.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
I mean that's
it's
huge.
a no-brainer.
That's huge.
That's a no-brainer. So the fact of the matter is that most individuals go back in the first 3 years.
Yeah.
Because they can't do what? Can't find housing, can't find
support.
jobs.
There's not a strong support system out here, and that's our fault. That's the village part, and then we got to do our part to step up. How much time do we have, Willie?
We about to end this, man.
Hey, we're about ready to end it?
Yeah, but I want to talk about Glove Jazz before we
Okay. Yeah, just a little bit. Can I say something?
You got to say about Glove Jazz. First of all, let's take a few minutes and introduce what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Tim Clark. I'm the executive director of the Love Jazz and Art Center, and the mission at the center is to promote, present, and preserve African American arts and jazz. And when you look at that area, 24th and Lake Street, there is a new renaissance that's taking place in North Omaha with the Union for Contemporary Art, the Bemis for Contemporary Art at Carver Bank, and then the Love Jazz and Arts Center is really, I foresee art, culture, and entertainment is anchoring that new corridor. And so it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's happening as we speak. The Love Jazz is the anchor. We've been there for 10 years, and so leading with live performances from the 20s to the 60s. I mean, the area was known for commerce, retail. You had, about 5, 6 different live venues. It was hopping. It was really hopping. And how do we create our challenge and pursuit now is how do we create a destination and attraction, not only just for North Omaha, but for the greater Omaha area and for visitors that would want to come and experience, and I say feel, touch, taste, and listen and learn about the culture of African Americans. And through our music, through our dance, through our arts and entertainment. So the first and third Fridays we have live music. This coming Friday we have Matt Wallace Fusion Force, a jazz trio that's going to be performing. On the 20th we have Anthony Stills, former Husker player. It's going to be doing some classic R&B, classic Motown. And so you can go to our website at lovesjazzartcenter.org. lovesjazzartcenter.org. And so there's just some great things happening. And there again, I say we get people from all over the city that comes to the center. There is more good than bad that's happening in North Omaha. There's a lot of positive things that are happening. Economic development is happening, and really the challenge now is how do we make sure we keep some of the things that are happening, especially when it comes to the wealth building. Some of that wealth stays in North Omaha, that it turns in North Omaha. But we have some great things going on at the Love Jazz Center, around the Love Jazz. And we support live music, and there's a live concert that's coming up. I believe on the 17th is a gospel fest.
I'm going to that. Fred Hammond.
Fred Hammond. Yeah.
I'm trying to go to that.
Donnie McKirkland and Kim Burrell. And so, how often do we get concerts of? I call it a mega festival of praise, and it's just unbelievable gospel singers. How do we, Willie, the thing is, we see that this is here. I'm challenging people to buy your tickets. Don't hesitate and wait. Promoters, we have to give promoters confidence that Omaha will support live music. So you talk about a venue of 3,000, man, we should sell that out. There's no reason. Is that Ralston? Ralston Arena.
All they hold is 3,000?
Well, they're gonna stage it and set it for 3,000. And so if they were sold out already, the promoters would be looking at ways to expand it. But right now, it's set and staged for about 3,000. And so not only, this is not a concert just for North Omaha, this is a concert for this greater, the city of Omaha, the whole city. And so, if we can't come together in terms of just either R&B or rap, we should be able to come together in terms of all people under the umbrella of some gospel music, some praise and worship, and come get our praise on. So that's coming up. And and as you can see, Willie, I'm always trying to challenge my viewers. Check me out every Sunday on Heartland Focus.
Absolutely.
But I'm always on this health kick.
Yeah.
I'm a part of this initiative called REACH at Creighton University under the leadership of Dr. Sadie Lasaki, Kosoko Lasaki, and Dr. Richard Brown, really targeting African Americans to get African Americans to move more.
Yes.
at least a minimum of three times a week for 20 minutes until you sweat. We have to become more physically active. We must become more physically active.
And speaking of jazz, November 6th.
That's right. Yeah. And that's a
Jazz concert Friday, November 6th, 7:30, Metropolitan Community College, Fort Omaha campus. Institute for Culinary Arts, Brian Simpson, Selena Albright, and one of my all-time favorites, Pieces of a Dream.
Oh yeah. That's
so I got to be in the house and interview those folks.
That's right, and that's there again, supporting live music. That's something that they've been doing every year. I think it's what annual is this? I know it's been
16.
16 years. Fred Conley and his team has been putting that on, and so we need to support that. We're selling tickets at the Love Jazz and Arts Center for that concert as well.
$35 in advance?
Yep.
40 at the door.
$35 in advance, 40 at the door. So you can come. If you're a member, it's free in terms of the Matt Wallisdale on the 6th. Get you one set in at the Love Jazz Center and then go over to Metro. We have our on the first and third Fridays of each month. It's free for our members to come and do a little networking. So you come there for the first set and then go to the concert.
Again, folks, we have to really support and spend money in our communities. You said it earlier. We have to make sure our money turns over at least 6 or 7 times. Now it only turns over 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, I'm really kind of 1 time. Let's at least try for 2 to 3.
Yeah, so we really got to do better. We have. Oh, I almost forgot. Love Jazz, and I'm not taking anything from the Vivas. And I heard there's another art piece getting ready to come right where the Blue Line used to be. So, folks, people are saying this. I'm just saying.
Don't say it, yeah.
That gentrification can happen here if we don't support and make sure that the control of the Love Jazz stays with the Love Jazz. The minute it belongs to the city, not anything from the city, or anybody else, it no longer has the essence of what North Omaha is all about. The only way we can ensure that it stays the way we want it, we have to make sure that he is successful. We are losing too many entities within our community. I mean, right now we have the Omaha Star, we have Love Jazz, we lost the Urban League that used to be down there. OOIC is on the verge of being closed. The John Beasley Theater is closed. If we do not support this brother and what he's trying to do, we're going to lose the essence of North Omaha and the rich history behind it. So we got to make sure that we support the Love Jazz.
Appreciate that,
and
brother.
keeps it in control of your board and what you guys are trying to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate you taking the time for actually giving me the time to come on the show, and anytime. And I think as you're pursuing to have greater dialogue amongst leaders and the things that you're doing, always count me in. And anytime you need to use the Love Jazz and Arts Center, we'll make that available for anything that's community that's going to be for moving us forward and leaning forward as it relates to solutions. We spend too much time on the negative energies. I want to flip the switch there and say, let's spend time on solutions. How do we make things better and move forward? And there lies the energy and the strength of life that's going to get us to the next level of where we need to be. And I leave with, it starts with self. It starts with self, and we all have to do look at time, talent, and resources, and in those three categories, place it somewhere. And so you don't have to have money, but if you have the time, you're retired, and you can mentor a kid that's in Willie's program, or that needs to learn how to read, or you're strong in math, and you can tutor somebody that needs to be tutored in algebra. That's what I'm saying. We all have something that we can give. Black, blue, yellow, white, don't matter the color. What matters, is what are we willing to do to make a difference. And really, ultimately, when it's said and done, it's about the human race. I'm a global citizen. I'm a citizen of the world.
I'm glad you said that, because it truly is about the human race. But until the world sees me as a man and not a black man, you can never get to that point.
Yeah.
And I do agree. That it shouldn't be about race. It should be about the human race.
And that's why the significance of the movement Black Lives Matter, hell yes, they matter. And it's a shame that we're at a point in our country, in the world, where we have to stand up and say it loud, like I'm black and I'm proud. Black Lives Matter. Because the world as they see it in terms of looking inside, looking on the outside in terms of the United States, we're not really doing the kind of things we need to do to really create a situation where people shouldn't have to write those right signs and say Black Lives Matter. They're forcing that because there's too many inequalities, there's too many discrimination, there's too much racism, there's too many killings that should not take place. And so, you gotta do and say what's real for you, and that's real for people out there, that they have to voice their opinions and have and stand on the rooftop and say, Black Lives Matter. Stop it. Stop treating us like we're inhuman, that we don't have value, and disrespecting us because of what you think we are, versus you not taking the time to know who we are or share that.
I want to say this, and I agree with you to a certain extent. Black Lives Matter to who? Because apparently Black Lives Matter don't matter to us. And if black don't matter to us, why should it matter to anybody else?
Yeah. See, but the thing is, the Black Lives Matter. I mean, I don't think it's
a black man and not a white man.
I don't think it's an either or. I don't think it's an either or. I think when you settle on the principle of that black lives, you feel that black lives do not matter. I don't care if it's in terms of just self, from a community, internal, because you're saying internally, well, why should Black Lives matter to white folks and it don't matter to black folks? It still don't give, it's the humanness that we're after, so it don't give right for white folks, a white police officer to kill a brother, or it doesn't give right for a brother to kill a brother, because that matters too.
Yeah.
All lives, all lives matter.
You're right.
All lives matter, but when you have a particular problem, you have to place emphasis on that problem because it is so obvious. It is too obvious on both sides, in terms of internal, from black on black crime,
right,
to also black folks, law enforcement, and the inequalities, all these other things that are going on, where it is causing reason for people to stand and say Black Lives Matter. And so maybe some strategies to come out of that and say, well, why do these people have to yell Black Lives Matter? You do what you have to do, and if it calls for a great debate in terms of this presidential race, to say, hey, you know what? Black lives do matter. There's some crazy stuff that's going on in terms of our criminal justice system, our police departments all across the country. We have to make sure that all citizens be able to drive and not be fearful that just because I'm a black man, I'm going to get stopped, I'm going to get arrested, and I may die because of that interaction with the white man.
You have nothing to say about that, but until Black Lives Matter to us, it won't matter to no one else.
Yeah. And that's that whole thing. We started out, Willie, I know we got to go. We started out on the premise that it starts with self.
So with us.
It starts with us. And so I'm not going to back up from that. It's an internal thing. And we got to deal with that.
Yes.
But I can't deal with you until I deal with me.
Right.
So there's some stuff that I got to deal with that's
you can't
in me.
change the world until you change yourself.
Yeah. Better write a book about it. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on to the show. We hope you enjoyed it. There will be archived right after this, so you will be able to go on their website and actually see this. Also, Periscope. So he did a little bit of Periscope. Hopefully, you guys are following him on Periscope.
Yeah, follow me on Periscope.
Follow me on Periscope as well. It's a great app. Again, we want to thank you so much for tuning into the show. And as always, we leave you with peace.
Love. And a little bit of soul. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I think, that whole notion that, well, you say Black Lives Matter, but yet black folks killing each other. That pain, that's internal pain.
Right.
But hell, if I'm gonna take some external, already there's self-inflicted pain because we're killing each other, right? So when you put on top of that, that show was that show 2 hours?
Yeah, I got a 2 hour show.
Man,
I need to say this.
did we put in 2 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes, sir.
Did I just
Behind
put in 2
this.
hours with you? You should be giving stipends to your guests. Shit.
Let's go to stop broadcast.
Let me use the restroom.
Stop recording.
Hey.